welcome to yet another episode of the News on Map series. I am Pooja, and today in this segment, as we always do, we try to accumulate all the news that has been in the past, since the past few days, which are important from the perspective of your examination, that have come together to form MCQs, and also we will tell you about the questions with the help of maps. So let's first begin with the practice question of the last segment. The Himalayas are currently located in the north of the Indian subcontinent, which protects India from the harsh cold winds, and that is why our India is not a desert, a cold desert. Okay, it significantly affects the climate of the region, of course, and if the Himalayas had been replaced by the erstwhile Tethys Sea and the rest of the world's physical map had been the same, okay, as it is today, which of the following would be the climate of Indian subcontinent, which is going to be most similar to these of the countries? We have to select which one of the following are correct. So very simply it is saying that Himalayas are not present and it is replaced by a sea. That means very clearly we know that Indian subcontinent on all its three sides is peninsular. It has been surrounded by sea, and if we have sea in the north as well, we know which country has a similar situation with respect to sea. Australia, okay, and other countries, although United States is also something like this, and Democratic Republic of Congo and Peru are more of totally or purely tropical countries. Okay, so with respect to that, we have to make sure that we select the correct answer here. So if we talk about from amongst these given options, first thing that we have to be very clear of is know which countries are tropical and which countries are subtropical. For India, we can say, as India, just look at this map. Now see, India is lying in tropical as well as subtropical region. If we talk about the Tropic of Cancer, it almost divides India into half, okay? So you see, this region is subtropical, all right? And the southern region is mostly tropical, okay? The situation with respect to United States, you see, United States is beyond Tropic of Cancer, so it's a subtropical country, okay? Then we have Peru and Democratic Republic of Congo, right? So Democratic Republic of Congo, it lies between Tropic of Cancer and of course Tropic of Capricorn, and equator passes through it. So you see, it's a purely tropical country, which is not the case with India. Then comes Australia. Australia is lying to its north. If the northern part has to be taken care of, then to the north of Tropic of Capricorn, it is a tropical country, and the southern one is subtropical. So its situation is pretty similar to India with respect to the tropics. And as I told you, Democratic Republic of Congo as well as Peru, they have the similar situation with respect to their climate, because they are tropical countries lying between the tropics. So we can eliminate these two, okay? Democratic Republic of Congo and Peru. Then comes United States of America. Now you see that with respect to Australia and with respect to India, the climate would have been the same, because first of all, the tropics, latitude is the most important factor when we take the account of climate. Apart from latitude, we also have altitude, we also have nearness to the sea, continentality, everything. But when we talk about latitude, it stands out. So with respect to such questions, we will keep in mind the latitude perspective. Okay, so that makes us to conclude that Australia is going to be the correct answer. Okay, moving on, if we talk about the next question, it is with respect to this news. Recently, a naval fleet which was led by China's aircraft carrier, Liaoning Ning. Okay, so what is Liaoning Ning? Okay, you have to keep this in mind. This is Chinese aircraft carrier. It could be asked in your prelims examination. It passed near Japan's far southern islands of Okinawa, which is expected to escalate tensions in the region. So we have to make sure that whatever places that have been in news with respect to South China Sea and Indo-Pacific, you keep that in mind, because these are very much in the news. So we have to match the island or archipelago with the country they belong to. First we have Diego Garcia, USA. Second we have Falkland Islands, UK. We have Guam, Philippines, and then we have Coco, Myanmar. So let's see. Okay, one more thing. Coco's Keeling is another island, but it is not the same as Coco. Okay. So you see Diego Garcia. It is in the Indian Ocean, okay? And this belongs to United Kingdom and not the USA. It is a part of the Chagos archipelago, okay? Remember that as well, all right? So this belongs to UK and not the US. So first pair is not correct. Then we have Falkland Islands. Falkland Islands, you see Falkland is present in the Southern Atlantic, okay? And it is also known as Malvinas Island. Remember that it could be asked in your prelims with some other name, Malvinas Island. And this was a point of escalation or a bone of contention, even a war with UK between Argentina and UK. Okay, so Malvinas Island, it is administrated internally and it is claimed by Argentina, remember that. And it is in the Southern Atlantic Ocean, so that becomes second one is correct. Okay, then we have Guam, which belongs to Philippines. Let's see if it does or not. So Guam is in the Pacific, okay, and it is the southernmost, most populous and biggest island, you can say, of Mariana Islands, okay, and it is found in the Pacific. It belongs to the USA. All right, so another thing to be kept in mind over here, and that makes the third pair. I guess it was Philippines. No, it's the USA. So up till now, only the second one is correctly matched, okay. Then we have Coco. Coco Island, yes, let's see where is Coco Island. Coco Island is in the Bay of Bengal, you see. It's in the north of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and this belongs to Myanmar. It was, interestingly, why was it named Coco? It was discovered by the Portuguese, and because of the presence of so many coconut trees, it was named as Coco Island. And in 1994, of course, erstwhile it belonged to the British East India Company and then the British Crown. And after that, it was supposedly in 1994. Now, this thing is very controversial. In 1994, it was said that the Chinese have the lease to Coco Islands. Now, that is denied by the both Chinese officials and the Myanmarese officials. Okay, so Coco's Island is very important for the strategic security of India. So we have to make sure that this part of India, this Andaman and Nicobar part of India, does not come under any threat with respect to the 1994 rumors. So fourth one is also correctly matched. Only the second and the fourth are correct. Okay, I guess it was second, right? Yes, second and the fourth are correct. The correct answer is option D. Moving on to the next one, which is recently Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the US House of Representatives, he visited Ukraine and met with the President Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay, so we have to see which of the following among the nations that were among the nations that were members of the former Soviet Union that still share a border with Russia. So Soviet Union before disintegration, in 1991, before that, it had 15 nations. 15 nations came out after the disintegration of the former Soviet Union. Russia, Belarus, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Moldova. In Asia, we have Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Azerbaijan. Many countries came out from the disintegration. So now we have Lithuania, Moldova, Latvia and Estonia. For this, we have to, of course, go to the map. So you see, this is a huge area that comprised of former Soviet Union. So Russia has a border with, of course, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and we have Ukraine, of course, and then in Asia we have another set of states or countries. Moldova, amongst Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, does not have a border with Russia. Okay, so now we have to see the question, which of the following among the nations that were members of the former Soviet Union and they share a border with Russia right now. Okay, so before we go to the map, just keep in mind we have to select those countries which have a border with Russia. So 4 options were given: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Moldova. Okay, so you see Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania all have a border with Russia, but Moldova doesn't. Okay, so the correct answer should be Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia, 1, 3 and 4. Okay, so apart from Moldova, 1, 3 and 4, option B is going to be the correct answer, right? So very interestingly, you have to keep these tidbits in mind. Why? Because European region, African region and Middle Eastern region, These demand a lot of attention when we have to talk about the north-south extent, north-south arrangement, east-to-west arrangement, because these countries are very much in the news. Thousands of opposition-backed rebels recently rallied in Armenia's capital, Yerevan, accusing it of being soft on Azerbaijan over the cause of Nagorno-Karabakh. So, Nagorno-Karabakh is a region that has been in the news since a long period of time because of a blunder of Stalin. That is another story. I won't get into that, just a tidbit about it. So, we have to match the popular locations with the country or the continent or the region, we can say, because country or continent is although given, or region is also very famous. So, Nagorno-Karabakh, let's see. Nagorno-Karabakh, South Caucasus. First, Nagorno-Karabakh is a disputed territory between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Okay, so this region is, because it lies in the range of Caucasian mountains, it is known as Caucasian region. And Nagorno-Karabakh is the region which, after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, basically Nagorno-Karabakh has Christian majority, okay, and Armenia has Christian majority, but Azerbaijan is a Muslim majority country. It should logically, if you go through the contiguity, I'm not making any kind of statements, but logically, according to Stalin, it was given to Azerbaijan, but it could have gone to Armenia because of the religious identity. It could have been the same, but no, it went to Azerbaijan, and that is a bone of contention between these two countries. Okay, so Nagorno-Karabakh is correctly matched, Southern Caucasian region. Then Transnistria in Eastern Europe. Transnistria is a region of Moldova, okay, and basically it is a breakaway state. It is not belonging to Moldova, it is sharing a border with Moldova and Ukraine. Because this place has been in the news after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, it is thinking that because Moldova has a breakaway region by the name of Transnistria, this can also become a part of the war. So that is why this question was asked, and it belongs in Eastern Europe. That is correct. Somaliland is in Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa is a region in Africa, in Eastern Africa basically, and that has the countries such as Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, and of course Ethiopia. So Somaliland is a region that belongs to Horn of Africa. So all three are actually correct. Okay. So all three are correct. Option C, 1, 2, and 3 are going to be the correct answer here. Moving on to the next set of questions. Recently, the head of Guinea's military government announced that he was considering a 39-month transitional government before handing over power to the civilian government, after which it was criticized by several parties. So, you see, we have to select which of the following countries are located entirely between the Tropic of Cancer and Equator. Okay, Sudan, Myanmar, Chad, and Burkina-Faso. Mostly, you see the African countries are going to be a part of it. Sudan is there. Okay, Sudan, yes. I guess it was Equator and Tropic of Cancer, right? Yes. So, Sudan is one of the correct answers we have. Then we have, I guess, Chad was asked. Chad and Burkina Faso. Let's see. Chad, again, between Tropic of Cancer and Equator, and Burkina Faso. So, these lie entirely in between the Tropic of Cancer and Equator. But we talk about Myanmar. Myanmar's southern region, basically the southern region, lies between Tropic of Cancer and the Equator. But the northern region of Myanmar is the northward of Tropic of Cancer. So, it's not entirely lying between Tropic of Cancer and the Equator. The correct answer should be 1, 3, and 4. Okay, 1, 3, and 4, and that is option B. Moving on to the next question. The next question is with respect to the news. Recently, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, he initiated an auction process to restore the local currency Bolivar. So, whose local currency is Bolivar? It's Venezuela. Okay. So, we have to identify the countries along the Caribbean Sea from among the following. Okay. So, we have to choose the countries which lie close to the Caribbean Sea. Venezuela, Suriname, Haiti, Bermuda. Let's see. This is the Caribbean Sea. Okay. Haiti is one of them. Jamaica is there. Cuba is there. Venezuela is there. And the other ones were Venezuela and Haiti are for sure Suriname and Bermuda. Okay. Let's see Suriname and Bermuda. No. Suriname, no, that's not correct. Okay. And Bermuda is also not a part of it. So the correct answer would be, of course, only Venezuela and Haiti. Okay, 1 and 3 is going to be the correct answer. 1 and 3, that is option B. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is with respect to a recent research that claimed that the sea level near the New Zealand is rising much faster than the earlier estimates, as the land of the New Zealand itself is sinking into the sea. This is all a cause of climate change. So we have to match the straits that are present between these regions. First is Cook Strait. It joins north and southern islands of New Zealand. Then we have Davis Strait, Canada and Greenland. Davos Strait, that is France and England, and Tsushima Straits, that is Japan and South Korea. Okay, first let's see Cook Strait. So Cook Strait, here lies Cook Strait between the northern and southern islands of New Zealand. So first is correct. This is correct. Then we have Davis Strait between Canada and Greenland. Let's see where is Davis Strait. So yes, this is Davis Strait. Okay, near, if we have to go by this east or south of southeastern region of Baffin Bay, joining Greenland and of course Canada. So second is also correct. 1 and 2 are correct. Then we have Davos Strait between France and England. Let's see where is Davos Strait. Here lies Davos Strait, okay, between France and England. All right. Third is also correct. Let's mark third to be correct. Then we have Tsushima Strait between Japan and South Korea. Let's see where is Tsushima Strait here. Yes, there is Tsushima Strait, this near Fukuoka, between South Korea and the country of Japan. All right, so all are correctly matched. The correct answer should be all of the above. That is option D. All right, important straits are also going to be asked. Moving on to the next set of questions, which is with respect to recently SpaceX completed a crew return mission from the International Space Center, and that landed at the sea near the predefined Florida coast. This is a huge achievement. In case we have to go for commercial space flights, business-related, research-related, human-based space flights, this is a huge achievement. So which of the following rivers merges in the Atlantic Ocean or its related water body? Okay, it could be either Atlantic directly or indirectly related water body. Po River, St. Lawrence, Parana, the Limpopo. Let's move on. Po is a river in Italy. Okay, Po is the longest river in Italy, and it flows in Italy to the Adriatic Sea. Okay, here it is forming the delta. So Adriatic Sea is actually an extension of Mediterranean Sea, which is an extension of Atlantic Ocean. So first is correct. Okay, yes, Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, Po River is correct. Then St. Lawrence River. Let's see where is St. Lawrence River. Now here is St. Lawrence River. It is forming its region to drain in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so second is also correct. Second is correct. Then we have Parana River. Parana River is a very important river of South America, and it goes not only in Brazil, okay, but also Paraguay, and then we have Argentina, and it flows into the South Atlantic Ocean near Rio de la Plata. Okay, so first, second and third are correct. Then we have, of course, the important Limpopo River, which goes from South Africa. It rises actually in South Africa in the Crocodile River and flows into the Indian Ocean. This is the Limpopo River flowing. Okay, so then we know the correct answer would be, apart from Limpopo River, all the rivers flow into the Atlantic Ocean. 1, 2 and 3 is the correct answer here. Okay, yes, 1, 2 and 3. Option A, correct. Let's move on to the next question, which is with respect to, let's see the news first. In recent times, the jute industries of West Bengal have been facing a raw material crisis, and due to which many jute mills have shut down or closed down. So there are more than 60 globally important agriculture heritage sites across the world, 3 of which are located in India. So we have to match the agriculture heritage site to the state it belongs to. Globally important agriculture heritage site is an initiative of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, and UN, okay, and they are determined to identify more than approximately 100 to 150 agriculturally important sites which have knowledge as a heritage, traditional knowledge with respect to sowing of the seeds or harvesting or taking care of the fields, everything is taken into account which is traditional in nature for any site to be identified. So we have to match the sites with the state. Koraput in Odisha, Kuttanad in Kerala, and Pampore in Jammu and Kashmir. So Koraput in Odisha, basically Koraput is a part of Eastern Ghats, okay? And the traditional knowledge, 70% of the people living in Koraput are tribes. This is a tribal region. And they have a lot of knowledge about knowing the seeds which have to be sown, how they have to be sown. So the traditional knowledge is passed on to that region, and this is why this region is very important, and that is why it has been given the agriculture heritage site tag. It's in Odisha. First is correct. Then we of course had Kuttanad. Kuttanad is also it's a wetland actually. Okay, it's in Kerala. That is also correctly matched. And below sea level farming as well as fisheries is a huge part of its traditional knowledge. This is also correct. And then we have Pampore, which is in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so Pampore in Jammu and Kashmir has saffron heritage, saffron as their culture since 5th century BC. So you have to understand that since 5th century BC, if this is going on, then it's a part of their heritage. The region is rich with saffron growing salt. So Pampore is also correct. 1, 2 and 3 all are correct. The correct answer should be option C, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Moving on to the next question. The next question is, recently several tribal organizations from the Northeast staged a protest in view of the possibility of making Hindi mandatory. Imposition, as we know, 351, Article 351 talks about making Hindi as a lingua franca, as a common mode of expression, but it is not justiciable in nature. It is not something which is going to be enforced. But common language has to be there, a lingua franca has to be, of course, chosen for India, but how do we choose it? That is the biggest problem, because only 44%, approximately 44% of the world is India is Hindi speaking, and in that as well, dialects do dominate like Bhojpuri. Okay, so we have to consider the following statements. All the rivers of Northeast are a part of the runoff basin of Brahmaputra, of either the Brahmaputra or Surma rivers. Okay, and all the neighboring countries of India sharing the land borders share the border with at least 3 Indian states, minimum 3 Indian states. That stands out. Now see that first we have to keep in mind the region Northeast is dominated by Brahmaputra and Surma river. But one thing we forget, in Mizoram we have Kaladan river, which is a part of the Irrawaddy basin and not Surma or Brahmaputra. So the question was saying all the rivers are either a runoff of Brahmaputra or Surma. That is not correct. First is not correct. And the other thing is that there are so many countries that have a border with India, and they are sharing a border with more than 3 nations, many, such as Pakistan sharing with Jammu Kashmir, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Ladakh. And then we have other countries as well, okay, other countries as well with respect to the state sharing the border. China, we have Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, we also have Arunachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. So there is one state, I hope you know which state is that, only Afghanistan, which has a very narrow border with India in Ladakh. So minimum 3 states theory does not fit here. So 1 and 2, both are actually not correct, neither 1 nor 2. Let's move on to the next question. The Registrar General of India has recently released a report according to which Ladakh is at the top in sex ratio at birth. Okay, so first prelims fact is there. Now we have to arrange the following. Glaciers in order from east to west. We have Zimu, Remo and Hispar. Let's look at them. Zimu Glacier, if we have to know about Zimu Glacier, it's in Sikkim. Kanchenjunga, it's in Kanchenjunga River, which is the 3rd highest mountain in the world. It's in Sikkim. That means it stands in the east as we compare them to Hispar and Remo Glacier. Remo Glacier and Hispar Glacier, they both are present in the Ladakh region of India, and Remo and Hispar Glacier. Hispar Glacier is a part of Gilgit-Baltistan. Okay, so remember that. Hispar and Remo, first we have Zimu Glacier, then we have Remo Glacier, and then we have Zemo in Sikkim, Remo and Hispar in Ladakh, of which Remo is in the middle, and then we have Hispar. So 1, 2 and 3 are the correct code to be chosen from. Okay, let's move on to the next question, which is recently a rare incident in the Annamalai Tiger Reserve was captured on camera, where the jugnos created an enchanting scene by eliminating the high shields here, and it was beautiful. So we have to arrange the following in order from north to south, from top to bottom. We have Srivili Puthur Megamalai Tiger Reserve. This is in Tamil Nadu. Veer Shikhargarh Wildlife Sanctuary is in Haryana. Okay, Valmiki is in Bihar, and Attapakka Bird Sanctuary is in Andhra Pradesh. So just by knowing this, you will be able to do it. Let's visualize them. Now you see Veer Shikhargarh Wildlife Sanctuary, Haryana. Okay, Valmiki in Bihar, Attapakka Bird Sanctuary in Andhra Pradesh, and Sriviliputhur Megamalai is in Tamil Nadu. From north to south, right? First we have Veer Shikhargarh, then Valmiki, Attapakka and Sriviliputhur. Let's see them. Veer should be 1, that means 2. Then we have Valmiki, that is 3. Then we have Attapakka, that is 4. And then we have Sriviliputhur. Okay, so it should be 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's see if we have the option 2, 3, 4, 1. That is option A. Alright, let's move on to the next question, which is with respect to recently the Madras High Court has declared Mother Nature as a legal entity. While declaring her as a living being, of course, fundamental rights will be always available in this case. There are 36 biodiversity hotspots in the world, out of which 4 are also expanded in India. So we have to consider the following statements in that context only. The Himalayan biodiversity hotspot is expanded to 6 states of the northeast, and the Sundaland biodiversity hotspot extends to the entire Andaman and Nicobar Island. So we have to select the correct answer. You see that this region is going to show you the hotspots. Himalayan region with respect to here is Sikkim, then we have parts of Arunachal Pradesh as well, Assam, and Indo-Burma includes the lower northeastern states. So not 6, but only few states, 3 to 4, only 3 states you can see of the northeastern area is covered under the Himalaya biodiversity. And the second question was, the Sundaland biodiversity extends to the entire Andaman and Nicobar Island. No, Sundaland is just in the southern area of the Andaman and Nicobar Island, and the northern one is actually Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot, so that is also incorrect. Both statements are incorrect. D is the correct answer here, neither 1 nor 2. Let's move on to our, I guess we have the practice question for the next segment. A person fond of walking goes on to a world tour. He travels and lives continuously for more than a year on a continent that is endowed with natural scenery. He completes his journey by looking at clean rivers, waterfalls, lakes, snow-capped mountains, islands, and enjoying the pleasant weather. One day, while recalling his unforgettable journey, he notices that at no time during the journey did the sun come just above his head. So, which continent he was traveling to? North America, Asia, Africa, Europe. Okay? So, that's it for today. Next time we will come up with more questions. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.